Greetings and salutation to Mrs. Mira. We are from Group 7. My name is Nathaniel. Today we'll be presenting on our group assignment, which is e-hailing market analysis in Malaysia. These are our group members, myself, Aisyah Safia, Abigail Jacinta, Nur Anissa, as well as Tanusha.
Hi, greetings to everyone. My name is Aisyah Safia binti Sahad and my metric number is MC2505345512. I am going to present on the introduction of e-hailing industry. The e-hailing industry in Malaysia provides transportation services through mobile applications that connect passengers with drivers. And as we all have known, this e-hailing industry has grown rapidly since the entry of Grab, which is one of the most app that we use, and followed by competitors like InDrive, Maxim, and many more. Today, e-hailing is widely used because it is convenient, affordable, and easy to access, especially through our own gadget, which is the closest way to connect the e-hailing service. And although there are many drivers available, the market is dominated by a few big companies, especially Grab, making it an example of an oligopoly market structure in Malaysia. That is all from me. We can proceed to the next slide. Thank you.
Hello, Mrs. Mira. My name is Nathaniel, and I'll be presenting on definition of market structure. We have four. One which is called oligopoly. Oligopoly refers to the market structure where small number of firms have significant control over prices and output, often leading to limited competition and potential collusion with other firms. This type of market structure was has barriers to entry such as tariffs. Second one would be perfect competition. Refers to a market structure where many sellers compete to offer the best price and other sellers will not have any advantage over the other. This market structure does not have any government controls. Second would be monopoly. This refers to a market structure that only has one firm that only produces goods and services without any competition. So an example would be ACSB, the electrical company. Monopolistic firms offer unique goods and services produced that are without any close substitute. This grants them leverage over market demands as consumers have no other choice but to buy from them. And lastly would be monopolistic competition. This is a combination of consists of a combination of market structure between monopoly and competitive markets. So this market structure allows freedom of entry and exit. Firms can differentiate their products and set their prices, as well as their demands are also inelastic. So normal profits in the long run, they make normal profits in the long run. However, they can make super normal profits in the long run.
Hi, my name is Abigail Jacinta and I will be presenting about the characteristics of the e-hailing industry. So for the number of firms, in Malaysia, there are actually over 30 companies that are registered under APAD. So APAD is actually the acronym in Malay, but in English it stands for Land Public Transport Agency. But only a few remains active. So as we all know, Grab is a very big market player. They actually take about 70 to 80% of the market structure, whereas for InDrive comes in second with 10 to 20%, and then thirdly goes to AirAsia Ride with 5 to 10%, and the rest goes to the remaining less than 5%. So that is the number of firms in the e-hailing industry. Second characteristic we're going to talk about is about the type of products. So The type of products that the e-hailing industry provides, it is moderately differentiated. It is not homogeneous. So, meaning to say, all of these e-hailing platforms, they basically provide the same service, which is to get someone from point A to point B in a private owned vehicle, but they differ in certain ways, such as the brand and reputation, pricing model, service variety, and driver network and wait time. So what does that mean? For the brand and reputation, for example, Grab versus Maxim. Usually people would want to go to Grab even though Maxim is cheaper. Why? Because Grab is more known towards being more safe because of the safety features, and it's just more credible. Whereas Maxim, even though it's cheaper, some people would choose to go to Maxim just to get a cheaper price, but they know that choosing Maxim comes with a risk, because Maxim has gained criticisms for their drivers not owning proper licenses to actually become a driver in the e-hailing industry. And Maxim does not have the advanced safety features compared to Grab. So these sort of things are, even though they both do the same thing essentially, but they differ with the brand and the reputation that comes with their name. And then for the pricing model, so for Grab, it has an algorithm-based pricing, which during peak hours, they will search the price. And then for example, in Drive, right, they have this negotiating system with the customer. So, for example, the driver wants to set the price at 10 ringgit, but the passenger wants to pay only 8 ringgit. So they will negotiate an in-between which final price for the customer to pay. And then for AirAsia Ride, it is fixed pricing generally, but they also offer, sometimes they offer cheaper airport transportations. Like for example, I personally experienced a very big price difference from AirAsia Ride compared to Grab, because when I booked, I scheduled a ride from my home to the airport, it was only about 53 ringgit. But when I used Grab, it was 70 ringgit. So that is another difference when it comes to pricing model. Now for service variety, it's like what type of service does the platform provides to the passengers, such as female drivers only, economic rides, premium rides, stuff like that. And then for the driver network and wait time, so obviously the bigger and more trustworthy the platform is, it will attract more drivers to it. And with that being said, more supply means they can meet more of the demands. So once that happens, passengers, like the customers, don't need to wait such a long time to get their ride accepted, because it has a huge driver network when it comes to Grab, at least. So that's what it means. Thirdly is the barriers to entry. So e-hailing was once considered illegal as no legal provisions could regulate it. So what do they actually what do the governments actually want to regulate when it comes to this industry? They actually want to regulate the labor, consumer protection, and also property rights. So after years of negotiation and talking back and forth, like the Grab, like the e-hailing industry, but let's, for example, Grab, with the government body, they have finally come to terms in doing an amendment of the Land Public Transport Act and the Commercial Vehicles Licensing Board. So basically, in order for Grab to follow the amendment, what they require the drivers to do is to take a PSV, which is a Public Service Vehicle License. So it means every driver needs to have this PSV in order to become a driver. Before this, they didn't have that. So that was why Grab was illegal back then, because they had no requirements. It was basically very free. So after the amendment, then the government body have more trust towards Grab, because now it can control control it and regulate it. And then lastly is the pricing power. For the pricing power, it is the industry is a differentiated oligopoly and is dominated by Grab. So since Grab is the market leader, it has price setting influences, especially during peak periods. So basically all other platforms, when they want to set the price for their transportation, their rides, they would usually look up to Grab first, because that's what normal consumers would do as well when they want to compare the prices between the platforms. But the pricing is constrained due to low switching costs, price transparency across platforms, regulatory oversight, and competition from substitutes. So these platforms, they want to stay competitive in the pricing, but they cannot make it too high of a price, because that would just make other people say it doesn't make sense why I would like to pay 15 ringgit when I can just go to another platform to pay 10 ringgit. But they also cannot make it too low, because although it attracts more people, but the drivers won't get as much income, and also the companies, the e-hailing companies, they wouldn't get much revenue from it. So that is why it is constrained. The pricing is constrained, but at the end of the day, Grab is still the pricing benchmark. So this is my presentation. Thank you very much. I hope you can understand what I'm trying to present. Thank you.
Hi, this is Tanusha. We'll be presenting industry analysis. The Malaysian e-hailing industry consists of companies that prove familiar ride-hailing service through mobile application because their core services are similar competition to strong. Firms mainly compete through pricing strategy, promotion, service and features such as discount, rewarded programs and app involvement. This includes has high barrier to entry due to high technology costs, large capital requirement and government regulation. Although firms have some pricing power, they must consider competitive prices because customers easily switch platform. Therefore, the Malaysian e-hailing industry demonstrates the characteristic of an oligopoly market structure. And I'm passing to the next group member. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nur Anissa and I will be presenting about the conclusion of our topic, which is about the e-hailing industry in Malaysia. So, in conclusion, the e-hailing industry in Malaysia is an oligopoly because it is controlled by a few big companies like Grab, InDrive, and AirAsia Ride. Even though many companies are registered in this industry, only a few dominate the market, especially Grab, which holds the largest market share. There are also high barriers to entry such as high startup costs, advanced technology requirements, and strict government regulations. Because of this, it is difficult for new firms to enter and compete in the market. Companies compete through pricing strategies and promotions to attract customers. However, since this is an oligopoly market, each company must consider their competitors' actions before making decisions. So that is all from me. Thank you.